Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pirkei Avot, last chapter, chapter 6. I'd like to dedicate this shiur of Pirkei Avot, chapter 6, to Rav Bernstein and my mother, Iris Elizabeth Roque. May their memories be for a blessing. Who would you like to dedicate this shiur to? May their memories be for a blessing. Thank you for dedicating and lifting up the neshamot of all these loved ones. What a beautiful thing to do. And as we finish up this last chapter 6, we will continue doing in parts, but I think we'll do chapter 6 in 3 parts. But thank you for coming on this journey with me and making this online community for around studying all things Torah. I just really appreciate you guys. So we are going to do Sforno commentary on Pirkei Avot. And you can get this book from artscroll.com. If you don't have the funds or whatever, you still want to hang out with us in Pirkei Avot, go on to safaria.org, type in Pirkei Avot, and you'll get what we're getting. The only thing you won't be able to get is the Sforno commentary. But on chapter 6, there is a wonderful commentary. I think it's called Derech Hashem. I think that's what it's called. It's Derech something. Or maybe it's Derech Pirkei Avot. I don't know. But it's a very good commentary in English for Pirkei Avot. Let's go. So you know how we start every chapter with, all Israel has a share in the world to come. As it is said, and your people are all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. They are the branch of my planning, my handiwork in which to take pride. So let's go. We're going to do, I think we have today 4 Mishnayot. Each one is quite long. Might read them twice. But let's go. Let's see what we got. Okay. So the sages taught in the language of the Mishnah. Blessed be he who chose them and their teaching. Chose what? The language of the Mishnah. Blessed be he who chose them and their teaching. So Rabbi Meir said, whoever occupies himself with the Torah for its own sake merits many things. Not only that, but he is worth the whole world. He is called beloved friend, one that loves God, one that loves humankind, one that gladdens God, one that gladdens humankind. And the Torah clothes him in humility and reverence and equips him to be righteous, pious, upright, and trustworthy. It keeps him far from sin and brings him near to merit. And people benefit from his counsel, his sound knowledge, understanding, and strength. As it is said, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, strength is mine. And you'll find that in Proverbs chapter 8, verse 14. And it bestows upon him royalty, dominion, and acuteness in judgment. To him are revealed the secrets of the Torah, and he is made as an ever-flowing spring, and like a stream that never ceases. And he becomes modest, long-suffering, aka patient, and forgiving of insults. And it magnifies him and exalts him over everything. What an absolutely wonderful, wonderful Mishnah. So, wow. That's somebody who occupies himself with the Torah. And that is from Rabbi Meir. So let's see what the Sforno has to say about that. So the Sforno says, whoever engages in Torah study for its own sake merits many things. He is called friend. That means he's a partner to the Holy One, blessed be he, in the work of creation, for he helps attain the intended purpose of God in creation. As it is written, to me, how precious are your dear ones, O God. That's in Psalms 139, verse 17. He loves his creatures by being good to them and thereby emulating the attribute of his creator. He who is good and does good, as it is written, and you shall go in his ways. Deuteronomy 28, verse 9. So the Torah clothes him in humility and fear of God. These being characteristics of watchfulness. It also makes him fit to be righteous and devout. These being types of zeal. As our sages say, watchfulness brings one to zeal. And from him, people enjoy counsel and wisdom, for he instructs others, granting them understanding of the ways of life, how life works. Both temporal in this life, that includes time and space, temporal, time, and eternal. Eternal means outside of time and space. So this person who keeps themselves in the Torah can give you wisdom not only for in time and space, but outside of time and space, and understands a little bit more how that works. The Torah gives him dominion. He's teaching others communal and social skills as well as godly secrets of Torah. He becomes like a steadily strengthening fountain, increasing his knowledge in subject matters which are not included in Torah. He becomes modest, which means that he acquires traits that foster good deeds. And so now that the Sforno has spoken on that, Rav Pelkovitz wants to expound. This is the one that put this book together. And he usually goes in and he explains what the Sforno is saying in a little bit more clear everyday man's language. So he said, so the concept of man becoming a partner with the Almighty in creation is found in the Talmud in Shabbat 10a, where our sages teach us that one who judges equitably, honestly, and fairly becomes a partner to God, as does one who recites, he recites Vayechulu, which means, and he finished, and etc. That's in Shabbat, in his Shabbat prayers. By emulating Hashem, who is the righteous judge, and by acknowledging God's creation of the world in 6 days, man joins the Almighty in creation, for he sustains and strengthens the work of creation. And I think this is a phenomenal concept, because this is the equation to having partnership or being in partnership with Hashem. It's studying his ways and trying to emulate his ways. Is how you become in partnership with Hashem. People will see your life, see the changes you made, and thus want to receive counsel and wisdom from you, because you yourself have taken on counsel and wisdom. I just think it's phenomenal. So a Ra is a okay, yeah, that's the neighbor. A Re'ah, a Re'ah is a friend, and I think in modern Hebrew, I think that means neighbor, right? A Re'ah is a friend, or in the context of our Mishnah, an assistant, a helper, an associate. And by studying and living Torah, man adds to the stability and purpose of the world. The Sforno quotes the verse in Psalms as proof of this thesis, for King David praises and extols those who are the dear friends of God. It's interesting to note that the Sforno, in his commentary on Psalms, explains this verse of Psalms 139, verse 17, differently. There he follows the interpretation of Ibn Ezra and the Radak, who both, Ibn Ezra, I don't think he's a rabbi, but the Radak is a rabbi. And they are very good with grammar, Hebrew grammar, and they are translated as the Re'ah as your ideas or concepts, which are dear to me. In his commentary on Psalms, the Sforno adds that by studying Torah and analyzing the depths of the mitzvah, one becomes familiar with the thoughts and the designs of God. Here, however, he chooses to translate Re'ah as a friend and helper. So in his introduction to Avot and in his commentary on the first Mishnah of chapter 4, the Sforno stated that the purpose of that chapter is to instruct man how to attain traits of watchfulness and zeal, which result when man's intent in all his deeds is for the glory of God. The Sforno applies this thought to explain the meaning of clothing oneself with humility and fear of God through Torah, which Rabbi Meir, he includes in the benefits which accrue to one who studies Torah. This concluding comment of the Sforno on the phrase dominion in English is prompted by the seeming redundance of this phrase, since the student has already been promised kingship. He therefore explains that this second phrase refers to the talents and skills in the social communal areas, whereas kingship refers to knowledge of Torah. In the sense of who are kings, the rabbis. This idea of developing expertise in subject matters beyond Torah is also found in his commentary on becoming a strengthening fountain. All this mirrors the Sforno's own development of discipline and skills in the fields of science and medicine. So I'm wondering if that last part, the fields of science and medicine, are the things that are also not found in Torah. Not that you can't find science and medicine in Torah, but the actual structured studies of them. Okay, that was the first Mishnah. Let me get some of the coffee. Shout out to all the new subscribers, all that are helping to build this community and pass this on. We all need ethics, mission, musar in our lives. It helps build us up. It helps keep us focused. And you can see the benefits. And these ethics and this musar was passed down from Mount Sinai, from Moshe to his people. Mishnah 2, Rabbi Joshua ben Levi said, every day a bat kol, in English, a heavenly voice, goes forth from Mount Horeb. And remember, Mount Horeb is Mount Sinai. For some reason, it's Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai, all the way till you get to Deuteronomy, and it turns into Mount Horeb. So Mount Horeb, meaning that's what it's referred to as, Mount Horeb in the book of Devarim. So every day a heavenly voice goes forth from Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai, and makes proclamation and says, woe unto humankind for their contempt towards Torah. For whoever does not occupy himself with the study of Torah is called a nazuf, the rebuked. As it is said, like a gold ring in the snout of a pig is a beautiful woman bereft of sense. Proverbs 11:22, and it says, and the tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, graven upon the tablets. That's in Exodus 32:16. Read not Haruth, which means graven, but Haruth, freedom. For there is no free man, but one that occupies himself in the study of the Torah. And whoever regularly occupies himself in the study of Torah, he is surely exalted, as it is said, and from the Matanah to Nahaliel, and Nahaliel to Bamoth. That's in Numbers 21, verse 19. So let's see what the Sforno has to say on that. So every day a heavenly voice comes or emanates. Their insult to the Torah occurs when man fails to esteem and value Torah, to examine and study it so as to understand the benefit to be derived from it. Then the Torah is, as it were, insulted. Therefore, that person is called rebuked, meaning that when he is reprimanded, he may be called by a derogatory name, as we find in Moed Katan in 16b. Aya, see, or is it 8 yet? Aya, see who is calling to you outside. Okay. I'm sure Rav Pelkovitz will help us out with that one. But it's really interesting, the idea that the Bat Kol is calling from Mount Horeb, which that's where we get the Torah from. So in this Mishnah, the Torah is calling to you, and if you don't accept the call, the Torah is insulted. And it just makes my mind go straight away to Proverbs. Is it chapter 8, or I forget what chapter it is, but the chapter in Proverbs, please put it down below if you can think of what it is, where wisdom is in the street calling to people to heed her voice, if you will, and to participate with her. And she's like, I can help you stop being stupid. So I wonder if that's kind of like the same thing. So the Tana brings proof to his statement from the analogy of a beautiful woman whose husband does not appreciate her beauty. She's like a gold ring in the swine's snout in Proverbs 11:22, who does not recognize the value and importance of gold, the pig. The Tana therefore calls this man who doesn't appreciate his wife's beauty a swine. And so it is when one does not occupy himself with Torah, for he fails to recognize its advantages, usefulness, and benefit. The Tana in this way gives good reason why this person is worthy of rebuke. For it is due to his carelessness that he has deprived himself from attaining the benefits of Torah and the great honor which it brings. Okay, so Rav Pelkovitz says, let me clarify that a bit. So the Sforno is of the opinion that unless a person contemplates the greatness and the unmatched value of Torah, holding it in the highest esteem, he's guilty of shaming it, even though he does nothing overtly to insult its importance. So the phrase, which is translated as reprobate or rebuked, is used in the Talmud to describe one who is under a ban. The Sforno cites the story of Rabbi, who instructed his pupils not to disseminate Torah outside of the Beis HaMikdash, the temple. His disciple, Rabbi Hiya, did not abide by this instruction and taught his nephews outside. When Hiya later came to visit Rabbi, he called him Aya instead of Hiya, thereby rebuking him for his disobedience. So the Sforno proves from this incident that one may call another by a derogatory name to demonstrate his displeasure with that person's conduct. By the same token, the proof verse from Proverbs chapter 11, verse 22 is understood by him to mean that one is permitted to call a person who treats Torah with disdain and contempt a swine. He also explains that the concluding part of this Baraisa, this story from outside the Mishnah, also describing the loss incurred by neglecting Torah study, one could have realized true freedom and honor had he only pursued the study of Torah. But through his own lethargy and carelessness, he forfeited both of these gifts. His lethargy. He's lethargic, just sleepy, just not. And carelessness. Get to it now. He don't even get it. He forfeited it. Wow. And what's interesting is it was not done overtly. Lethargy and carelessness is not really overt. It's kind of, it's really subtle. So it's kind of like scary a little bit to miss an opportunity. In the business world, everybody's working. If you miss an opportunity to get your product out there, or are you careless and lethargic about promoting your product or your new book that you wrote, or maybe you've completed a project at work and you want to showcase it, or whatever. Are you careless and lethargic about that? Wow. Do you miss opportunities that way? Wow. Probably not. Mishnah 3. One who learns from his fellow one chapter, or one halakha, one command, or one verse, one word, or even one letter, aleph, is obligated to treat him with honor. One who learns from his fellow one of these things. For so we find with David, king of Israel, who learned from Ahithophel no more than 2 things. Yet he called him his master, his guide, and his beloved friend. As it is said, but it was you, a man mine equal, my guide and my beloved friend, in Psalms 54, verse 14. Is this not an instance of the argument from the less to the greater, the Kal v'Homer? If David, king of Israel, who learned from Ahithophel no more than 2 things, nevertheless called him his master, his guide, and his beloved friend, than in the case of one who learns from his fellow, one chapter, one halakha or command, one verse, one word, or even one letter. All the more so he is under obligation to treat him with honor. And honor means nothing but Torah. As it is said, it is honor it is honor that sages inherit. You get that in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 35. And the perfect shall inherit good. Proverbs 28, verse 10. And good means nothing but Torah. As it is said, for I give you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah. That's in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2. The Sforno says, he who learns from his fellow man must treat him with honor, since one who does not study Torah is worthy to be rebuked and insulted. It follows that he who brings honor to another by teaching him Torah, which is the opposite of contempt, is worthy to be honored himself. And the Tana brings proof from King David that under these circumstances, it is fitting to pay respect and honor even to one of an inferior status. For King David honored Ahithophel, who was inferior to him in status. He then brings proof to his statement, even one letter, by saying honor comes only for Torah, meaning that Torah in itself is honor, and not merely the cause of honor. Hence, regarding any part of honor, one is justified to call it honor, for the whole of the sum is in its parts. And Rav Bernstein wants to get in on this, and he says, the Sforno explains that this baraza, section by section, is elucidating the various proof verses cited by the Tana. So the first verse was from Psalm 55, where King David calls Ahithophel. This one says Ahithophel, a man of my measure, my guide, and my intimate. King David's in recognition of Ahithophel, teaching him 2 lessons. So Ahithophel taught King David 2 lessons. The first is that a person should not study Torah by himself. This is huge. If you have followed any bit of Pirkei Avot, you should know that you gotta study Torah in community. You can't go by yourself and expect the Torah is gonna follow you. You always need to keep studying Torah, and you want to study Torah with everybody, of course. But you always want to keep in your circle of Torah studiers the ones you went to class with, and whoever you learned under what rabbi with, or whatever teacher. You want to stay with those people that you learned together with, so you can remind each other of the things your teacher said. That is a huge thing in Pirkei Avot. So maybe it's why we have it in Pirkei Avot. First thing, that a person should not study Torah by himself. And the second, that a king should not walk alone to the house of study. This proves that even one who is superior, such as King David, compared to Ahithophel, must pay honor to his inferior if the latter has brought him Torah. However, how do we know that this is true even if he only teaches him one letter or one single verse? Well, the Sforno answers that if one recognizes the value of the totality of Torah, it follows that any part of Torah is of great value as well, just as any minute portion of a precious metal has value and worth. The Sforno then proceeds to show how the Tana connects the verse in Proverbs link by link to prove that the words honor and good refer to Torah. Okay, and now we're going to do one last little portion, Mishnah 4. And so Mishnah 4 goes a little bit like this. Such is the way of life of Torah. You shall eat bread with salt, and rationed water shall you drink. You shall sleep on the ground. Your life will be one of privation, and in Torah shall you labor. If you do this, happy shall you be, and it shall be good for you. Psalms 128, verse 2. Happy shall you be in this world, and it shall be good for you in the world to come. So let's just see here. So Sforno says, Niall. Sforno says, so the way of Torah. So the Tana cautions us regarding two things which usually prevent man from occupying himself with Torah study. One is a desire for physical pleasure. He therefore tells us that one who wishes to occupy himself with Torah must be satisfied with the basic necessities of life. Interesting. Let me repeat that. The Sforno is saying, if somebody wants to occupy himself with the Torah, you got to go. You're doing too much tonight. If one wants to be able to study Torah, you got to take care of your basic needs in life. Don't squander your time in the pursuit of luxuries. Make sure you knock out the basic needs. Are you eating? Are you going to the bathroom? You washing? You got some clean clothes? Listen, make sure you eat. I know I said it the first time, but make sure you eat. Make sure you're getting proper rest, exercise, things that's going to help you take care of yourself so that you can study more Torah. If you got to work a little bit, you got to work, but you're not going for the luxuries. You're going for the basic needs. Wonderful. Okay. So don't squander your time in the pursuit of luxuries. The second failing is in the longing for position and prominence in this world. You want that top promotion? The Tana therefore teaches us not to covet honor in this world beyond the status and station to which he is accustomed in this transitory world. So Sforno concludes by stating that in the attainment and mastery of Torah, man will realize a life of honor and prestige that is superior to all others. Okay. So Rav Pelkovitz wants to expound on that, and he says, so most commentators interpret this statement and do not covet honor as one lesson. Let your performance exceed your learning as a separate lesson. So according to this interpretation, there should be a comma or a semicolon between the words honor and more. And it was in Hebrew, so I'm trying to translate it the best I can. Not so for this Sforno, who understands the meaning of the brisa differently. So he links the phrase, don't covet honor, with the next two Hebrew words, which are interpreted to mean don't covet honor beyond your want, your need. That is more than what you're accustomed to. Don't covet honor more than what you're accustomed to, in keeping with your station in life. He puts the comma after the one word so it flows differently. Where the other commentators make two separate ideas and Sforno links them together. So consequently, the next section must read, do what you are capable of doing within your limitations and do not aspire to the table of kings. That's hidden. Okay. That is the end of this Torah portion. Nice, simple, and sweet because, like we said, the ideas are getting progressive. You want to sit back and think on these things a little bit. Please do. And please put some comments down below, some questions. Let me know somebody's out there enjoying this Musar. We'll be throwing a little bit. I got a couple other Musar books coming up. And I'm also interested in dropping a page every now and again of Musar from King Solomon himself, Melech Shlomo. Why? Because Musar should constantly be in your ears. If you are used to the Christian scriptures, then you are familiar with that being said over and over again. Why? Because the new people that were being introduced to Hashem, and even a convert to Judaism, there's no guarantee that understanding of ethics and morality, behavior between one another, and behavior between a man and his God, that's not, that you probably didn't come from that. So you have to be taught that. So we need Musar in our ears constantly so that we know how to live and what direction to go in. So thank you so much for joining with. We have a couple more parts to go for chapter 6, and then we'll be done with Pirkei Avot. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.